think it's a cool conversation. I mean, we're gonna change some lives, dude. You know, just with this podcast here. The people are gonna be watching us on YouTube. They're gonna be listening to us on iTunes and Spotify, and this is gonna get people to now start to look at alternatives, because it's not, you know, let's race to the drugs. I mean, people, you know, they'll say, oh, I have a cold, or I have the flu, or I'm not feeling well. And I always tell them, and of course, I'm not a doctor, and, you know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm like, just go flush your system with a bunch of greens, man. Like literally, and again, I could be wrong, but I've been told that, you know, when somebody gets cancer, if you go to a cancer center, the first thing they do is they put you on an all green diet, because you know, your system gets flushed out, number one. And again, you probably know more of the science behind it, but you know, cancer doesn't survive very well in an oxygen enriched environment. And so again, I'm not a doctor, but it's amazing how in my own life, if I ever feel a little bit sluggish, or I feel down, or I don't feel good, you know, I go out and I have one of my shakes with all this stuff in there, you know, and then I'll flush my system with green drinks, and I'm always cleansing. I'm constantly cleansing. And I swear to you, I can count on my hands in the last 10 years. I've been sick. I'm just never sick, man. I just don't get sick.
Yeah, you know, you're absolutely right. And, you know, for years, people would leave America and go when they had cancer and things. They still do, but they go down to, you know, Tijuana, down from your area, or different places in Mexico and the Caribbean. Nevis, a few islands are known for that. And the first thing they do is put them on a raw food diet. And it does come down to raw food contains oxygen in it, and it's more alkalinizing, the berries and the vegetables. And so it's those two factors, oxygenating the system and alkalinizing the system, because our diets are acid-based, and our lifestyle stress is acid-based. You know, the fact that we're drinking the sodas, we're having so much red meat in our diets, it's a lot of acid. And the key is just to get to where most days you're more alkaline-based eating, so that once in a while, when you have those foods, those tree foods, whatever it might be, if you choose to have them, that then the body just takes care of them through the normal process. Our body's meant to filter toxins, but not every day, every single day, everything we eat. That's the problem. So you're 100% right. And usually the first thing that people should do is just get off processed foods. And in fact, the thing that I've probably known the most for back, especially in the MBA and even today, is to help people make that jump and start eating healthier and be consistent. Because there was a secret I had in the MBA I didn't share with many people, and now I'm able to, and that is that your body has a bunch of friendly bacteria in it. In fact, almost half of your body, believe it or not, is bacteria. And we were taught 10% back in college, but now we know it's almost 50%. And those bacteria will crave the foods that they're raised on. So if you and I go out and we have a whole bunch of junk food, and we have soda, and we have acidic foods, that's what these friendly bacteria, that's kind of like our second immune system, are raised on. And so the second we start trying to eat healthier, then all of a sudden what happens, right? Or these friendly bacteria are just like little kids. They start craving what they were raised on. And also we're craving those foods, and we give in. And that's the problem, is everyone knows that they should be eating healthier. Most people will try to start that, and then they fall off. So what can we do to bridge that gap? And that was the secret sauce, is that we come in and say, okay, look, what you need to do is to get rid of those bacteria and put back new bacteria, probiotics they're called. And we put those in the gut in super high dosages. And then it's like re-inoculating the bowels. Then as we start to eat healthier, those new bacteria are raised on healthier food. So now we only have to go a few weeks of eating healthier, get through just those little basic cravings right at the first. And now our body isn't craving those bad foods, because this new bacteria are raised on the good foods. And so now people are able to stick with eating healthier and be able to reduce body fat and have more energy when previously they weren't, because those friendly bacteria are craving the healthier foods. And that's kind of the secret weapon. I wanted to give that little bit of advice, or that secret that we learned in the MBA decades ago, to your following, because most people don't know that. They're like, yeah, I did. I started eating healthier. You know, I listened to Daniel. I got it under control. And then all of a sudden I went back because I just had this huge craving for chocolate cake or for sodas or whatever it might be. And but so there is a way to fix that.
Well, look, man, you and your family are freaking ripped. Okay. So let's just all start with that here. You guys are all ripped, and your boys and your wife and everybody's just healthy like crazy, right? And you're doing, pageants, or not pageants, but bodybuilding, whatever, competitions. There we go. That was the word I was looking for. And so how did that start? And maybe talk to us a little bit about, all the regular normal people out here. Okay. I mean, we're all like, we all want six-pack abs. There's not a person on the planet that does not want six-pack abs. And maybe you can touch on, number one, just like how you all got started in that arena in your life. And then give us some thoughts on how to transform our bodies, maybe, because, you look at the celebrities, you look at the people in competitions, and you go like, how is that possible without working out 8 hours a day? Is it possible? And maybe you could share some thoughts on that, on those ideas.
I really appreciate it because my family is known for being in the sport of natural bodybuilding and doing great. My wife's a two-time Miss Olympia champion in figure. My son's competing in it. My daughter just turned 19, is coming on, probably get her pro card this year, just dominating in the bikini division. And so they're really just great examples. And it really comes down to the lifestyle. Of course, they were raised a little bit different than most, but just by trying to eat healthy. But they had their moments of just junk food like most kids do, and going through that. But they knew what was right. They were taught what was right, just like you with your kids, right? One quick little thing. I remember when one of my sons was about 15, he came home really, really mad. And he's like, Dad, I never knew that peanut butter tasted this good. I was over at a friend's house and they had a peanut butter sandwich, the best thing I ever tasted. And they said it was because it was Jiffy peanut butter. And you raised us on this peanut butter you had to mix, right? And he was all upset. But point being is it's one, being the example to them and going, and then they choose their own course. And, we've had over 62 bodybuilders die in the last year in the sport, but that's the drug side of it. In other words, the IFBB, the Arnold Schwarzenegger type group, and that group takes steroids, and they're dying because they're abusing their body with drugs to build these big muscles. In our sport of bodybuilding, it's a natural bodybuilding. It's IMBA, PMBA. It's a drug tested like the Olympics. So it's completely Olympic tested. And it's how can you get your body to its ultimate level of health and fitness and shape naturally. And so for our family, it's like, I know they take it to an extreme, right? Being Miss Olympia and all that, but the point is to show what's possible naturally without the use of drugs, because steroid drugs still look great, like a lot of the influencers and stuff used now, in my opinion, are actually worse than prescription drugs that people take all the time when they don't need them. Go out there and take anti-inflammatories when you don't need to, antidepressants when you don't need to, those types of things, because they're hiding it. These influencers are out there and they're showing these large muscles in this shape, and it's not real because they're taking these steroids that their health is hurt. And they usually reach out to me at some point because it does damage them. So just to get back to it, but basically the reason we do that and our family does it, there's too many people out there that teach things and they don't back it up with actions. Just like you said, if I'm going to look to improve my health, I'm going to go to someone like you. You look the part, you are the part, you talk about it. We know that that's your lifestyle. That's who we're going to go to. I don't care what numbers or letters are behind your name. It's like you are doing something right. And so we just try to be that example. And my family is really great at it. I spend the majority of my time educating and teaching, and they're out there the ones doing the sport and doing that and showing what's possible. So we don't expect everyone to be professional natural bodybuilders and all that. But the point is that you look to those that do and say, yeah, I see what's possible. If I ever chose to go that far. But the second part of your question is more important, right? It's like, what can the average person that goes to work do? And the answer is the same thing that I alluded to earlier that we learned with the professional athletes, but have it be in a system and something that we can do on the daily. Not being a professional athlete, we don't have 5 or 6 hours a day to work on our health. And so I created a program with the athletes, and I call it the 21-day Blitz. So 21-day Blitz program. And it's very simple. It's basically, I outline, here are the foods you should stay away from that cause extreme damage to the body, that cause aging, that cause disease to jump in real quick. So for example, fried foods, carbonation, everything we know, right? Limiting the sugar intake to 50 grams a day, which, being nice, I wanted it less, but we learned over the decades about where we could get the public, to, hey, make these improvements, and they can do it and do it on the daily without, ridiculous amounts of sacrifice. And then also on this little chart that they mark off each day, they don't have white flour, so they mark it off. They don't have sodas, they mark it off. They don't have alcohol for 21 days, they mark it off. It's also the things to do, to eat more berries and vegetables, and it has lists of those things, and water, how much water to drink. And at the end of the day, they mark off these things that they did do and that they stayed away from, and they do it for 21 days. And then during that time, they reload their body with the friendly probiotics in really high amounts that we talked about earlier. So now your friendly bacteria are craving healthier foods. You're having better habits by staying away from those foods, but for 21 days. And if you can commit to 21 days, we have such a huge change in our eco environment inside the body internally, that it makes it a lot easier to stick with it for life. So I'm real big on putting people in the 21-day challenge. They can go about it for free by just downloading, the document and doing it, or they can take advantage of the program and, get the probiotics and do it 100% like we do with most people and with the athletes. But they can do that. It's just 21dayblitz.com is you can go to and check it out.
Thank you for watching our short clips on Alonzo Academy. If you'd like to watch the next short clip, click here. If you'd like to watch the entire podcast, click here.